A market consists of sellers who produce a product and buyers who consume the product. We represent sellers with supply. Supply represents the marginal cost of production. Each point along the supply curve tells us how much that unit costs to produce, and thus the minimum price needed to incentivize producers to make that quantity. Demand represents the marginal benefit of consumption. Each point along the demand curve tells us how much the consumers are willing to pay for that unit, and thus the maximum price at which consumers will still buy that quantity. Equilibrium is reached when the market price yields a quantity demanded equal to the quantity supplied. That is, of course, found where supply and demand cross. At equilibrium, the going market price incentivizes producers to make the same quantity as it incentivizes consumers to buy. Every producer is compensated for their efforts, and every consumer willing to do that compensating is able to buy the product. At equilibrium, resources are being used to make a product that consumers actually want, and the product is going to the consumers who are willing to pay the most for them. Competition will always drive markets towards equilibrium. Imagine we set a market price which was above where supply and demand cross. This high price discourages consumers. There are too few who want to buy it at this high price because they would rather use their money on something else. The quantity demanded is low. But such a high price is a big incentive for producers who are willing to produce a lot of this product if they can earn such a high reward. The quantity supplied is high. We have a surplus. A surplus occurs when the quantity supplied exceeds the quantity demanded. This mismatch creates problems. There are not enough consumers willing to buy all this product that got produced. We've wasted resources in this market, and sellers are going to end up losing money on their efforts. They will reduce prices to move product, and many will shut down, driving the price lower and incentivizing consumers to buy more until we reach equilibrium, where there's no mismatch between the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded. Suppose we go too far and set a market price which is too low. At this low price, consumers are eager to buy. The quantity demanded is high. But the producers aren't going to produce very many because the low price simply doesn't cover the cost of production beyond this low quantity supplied. We have a shortage of this product. A shortage occurs when the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied. So what will happen? Well, entrepreneurs will notice the long lines of consumers trying to get their hands on this product, but leaving empty-handed, and they will try to offer more to consumers at a higher price. And consumers themselves will start to bid up this price as they compete with each other over the short supply. Think of how a product shortage, like the shortage of toilet paper during the COVID-19 pandemic, led many to put up what they had on eBay at exorbitant prices. That price is a signal to producers to ramp up production in order to earn that bounty themselves. This drive towards equilibrium, fueled by competition and free markets, is why Adam Smith believed that the best allocation of resources would be achieved if we just let everyone do what they think is best. As soon as we stand in the way of that competition and in the way of free enterprise, we lose the mechanism by which the economy drives out inefficiency and waste. But if we get out of the way of competition and free enterprise, each person will be driven, quote, to promote an end which was no part of his intention. By pursuing his own interest, he frequently promotes that of the society more effectually than when he really intends to promote it, end quote. Under Adam Smith's market economy, you are no longer able to get ahead through force and coercion. Instead, the only way to get ahead is to provide something of value to other people, something they will voluntarily purchase from you. And the rush to better ourselves and provide something of value drives us to make the best use of our resources and provides to people the goods and services they genuinely need and want. If the market forces us towards equilibrium without any intervention, we can use our supply and demand framework to understand how markets react to changes in the world. Here's an example. Consider the market for apricots. Heat waves have reduced yields on apricot farms. What will be the impact on the market? First, we want to think about whether it impacts supply or demand. These are two separate forces which respond to different things. So, did we impact producers and the cost of production, or consumers and their willingness to pay? Since the heat waves impact apricot farmers, we're certainly talking about supply, and the heat wave is going to make it costlier to produce apricots, since so many will be lost to the heat. Higher costs mean a decrease in supply and a shift to the left. As we move from the old equilibrium to the new one, we can see that the market price rises while the market quantity, the amount produced and purchased, decreases. We end up with fewer apricots and a higher price for them. If this seems intuitive to you, that's good. We have lots of experience with markets in real life which can help us out. Here's another one. Consider the market for cars made by Honda. A new Super Bowl ad for the cars has people talking. What will be the impact on the market? Does this advertisement impact supply or demand? The goal of most advertising is to inform consumers of a product and entice them to buy it. That means it impacts demand. If consumers respond favorably, demand will increase and shift to the right. The result of an increase in demand is a higher market price and a higher market quantity. Let's do a tougher one. Consider the market for milk. The price of cereal, a complement for milk, increases. What will be the impact on the market? Over in the market for cereal, a higher price has decreased the quantity demanded. Since people are buying less cereal, they won't be willing to spend as much on milk. This will decrease the demand for milk, shifting it to the left, which lowers both the market price and the market quantity. As you might imagine, milk producers love it when cereal is cheap, and vice versa. Now let's consider the market for housing. The price of lumber falls. What will be the impact on the market? Since lumber is an important input for housing, a falling price means lower costs for home builders. Lower costs of production increase supply, which means a shift to the right. As we can see, the market price falls and the market quantity increases. The home builders pass on some of those cost savings to the consumers. Shifts in the market can often be trickier than it seems. I can't tell you how many times a friend or acquaintance has informed me at great length about why the price of this or that is going up or down, with reasoning in direct defiance of how markets work. This handy chart can help discern how different market conditions impact supply or demand, and how that translates into a change in price and quantity. It's worth taking some time to get it down. But our key takeaway is that a market system is able to set prices across markets such that producers are incentivized to make what consumers want most. Adam Smith's invisible hand organizes the whole economy, no intervention necessary, and it does so in a way that supports human flourishing.